Hello class. So our fifth video already in the playlist, and you saw how easy it was to create the database, create the table, create the fields. If you saw the videos before this one, the previous ones, you'll see how easy it was. Okay, it's as easy as 1, 2, 3. So you just recap, you just search for your database. When you see the search box, you can be in my computer, it's here. Look out for it. It could be here for yours, in the school computers, it's at the bottom. So you open access, and let's try to now create another one just to show you how easy it is. Create a blank database, and let's call this one, what do we call this one? Okay, you can call it whatever you want, okay? Call it whatever you want. I'm just trying to find my own from the guide. We can use the guide now. And what do we call this database in the guide? Customer mailing list, okay? Let's say customer mailing list, okay? So click on the folder, and then you know where to save it. You know where to save it. Save it in your own folder. Canons, I will save it in here. Class, this is where all magic is happening. So I already have the school database, and I'm creating the customer mailing list. That's how easy it is to create the database. I have my database. So now the table, what should I call the table? Design view. I'm looking at the guide now. That's why there is an interruption. I'm looking at the guide. Let's call it customers. This one is customers. So now I'm going to try and rename it in a different way. So you can't rename the database object table while it's open. So it is open now. So let's close it. Okay. And my let's create table 1, and we can't rename it this way until we close it, and if we close it we'll have to recreate another one. So it's fine. I'm gonna go the classic way and click on the icon here, the view, design view. The icon is there, so I call it customers. And that's how easy it is to create a table and and a database. A database and a table. So if I wanted to create fields now for this, I'll start with this. The last one, if you remember, I did a student ID. This time I will do customer ID. And then title, because it's gonna be Mr. or short text. And then first name without space, and then last name, and so on. Okay, and so on and so forth. Postcode, email, gender, date of birth. Okay, so let's go back to our own database and let's have some fun with it. Our own database was here. Okay, so now, as I said, I thought I used spreadsheet. You can play with spreadsheet. Also, it's something cool to learn. Very good to learn. You can play with it. And I used Access to create my database. Okay, and then we renamed the table. It was created for us. If I want to create second table, I can click on create and then add another table. And this table now I will call it. Now I can close this one and. Control Z. Does it happen? No. Let's create a table. That's fine. Go to design view and call it personal information. Let's call it student attendance. So that's how easy it is to create a table. And the hardest thing, children, is to know what to create. That's the hardest thing. Once you know what to create and you know what you need to create, then you just go and learn it in 10 minutes. So be confident, okay? Be confident and you will be able to do anything you want. This is just an example of how easy it is to create the database. Now let's have a look at our personal information. This is our personal information. Let's have a look at the design view. And now let's study, or let's analyze, or let's look at the fields. So the first field is field first name, okay? First name, when you look at the field, when you click on the field, you see all the properties. They're called the field properties here. These field properties, they are for us to set. We change the settings for these properties. Now, like I said, you don't need 155 letters to create a first name. A first name, maximum for a first name would be maybe 55 letters if it's really, really long. And then you can have a caption, you can have default value. Let's see if we have a default value of F first name. Let's say it's default value, okay? Let's see what happens. Now in the other view, let's save it. The size, one or more fields has been changed. Yes, okay. Now, first name. Can you see the default view? It's already there. Now I can change it to Ali. But the default view is always there. And then I can put here Gemma. Okay? And the default view is always there. The default, I set it in the field name. So if we go back, and this is where I set my default first name. If I take it off, okay, and then I go back, save, I have to save. Now if I go back, it's not there anymore. If I do Omar and then click enter, it won't be there anymore. Okay, so I have now created 3 rows with partial records. They're not complete records. So what do? I can delete them. I think I can delete them. Delete. I delete those rows. Okay, yes, I deleted those rows. No problem. You can create, you can delete, or you can update. Okay, so this is the field properties. These are the field properties. If you go to design view, anything you click, you'll have the properties for that field. So the last name is the same as the first name. It has properties. Again, I don't think last name would be longer than 55 letters. So there's no point using 255 letters in memory. So now I reduce the space in memory. Never mind that though. Let's have a look. Now, date of birth. For the date of birth, we know it's a date and time. Now, because default value, we add the default value now, okay? Or validation rule, not even default value, validation rule. I know you are born, let's say the earliest you are born is 2012, 2011, 2010. So I'm gonna put no earlier than 01/01/2010, okay? So that's that. All right, so now let me see what happens if I put an earlier date, okay? If I put an earlier date, let's see what happens. Let's change this and try to say 1/1 and say 2009. What does it say? You see, 1 or more values are prohibited by the validation. So, is no earlier than 2010. I set this rule in this field here. I set this rule here. Let me change this to whatever it was before. Okay, so now, yeah, because earlier or equal I should have done. Okay, now I'm happy with that. And whatever, ja@myschool.com, address, yeah, 8th Avenue. Okay, so now, and gender, John is male. So now we do another validation, and that would be our video for now, okay? So our another validation, we go to I'm just checking if I can do something else. We go to now the gender. Okay, gender, we want only male or female. I know some people don't want to state their gender or to say their gender, but let's say I only need one letter because it's M or F, and to be not to have so many errors, I'll put 10 letters. Maximum 10 letters I will accept. The size of this field, I will only accept 10 letters. And now in the validation rule, I'm gonna put equal M or F. Let's see now what happens. No, you need to remain as F. Okay, let's see if I get it. Or we change it. Okay, so yes. All this I'm pressing yes, yeah, because you can read it. Reading is very good for you, very important. Read anything so you understand how things work. So let's have a look at the gender now. If I put G, it gives me an error and it tells me the rule is it's either M or F. So we looked at now the field properties and the data validation. This video is getting long, so I'll have to stop and I'll see you in my next video. So start now following the videos and I'll see you in my next video.